Welcome to College Briefing. The content of the briefing includes Pakistan elections, 5 people poised to shape the country's future. The Chinese scientists leaving top U.S. universities to take up roles in China. Hokkaido Ramen chain wins fans from Harvard to Southeast Asia. Poland's new leader is hellbent on restoring democracy, even if it means war with his populist rivals. Weekend time schedule. Pakistan elections, 5 people poised to shape the country's future. Nikkei Asia. Pakistan is preparing for elections on February 8, following 2 years of political turmoil after former Prime Minister Imran Khan was ousted in a no-confidence vote. Khan, who is currently in jail on corruption charges, is barred from running in the elections. As a result, other leaders have the opportunity to take the spotlight. One key figure to watch is Nawaz Sharif, a former prime minister who has already held office 3 times. Sharif has been convicted and jailed on corruption charges in the past but returned to Pakistan in 2021 with the backing of the military. Many analysts believe the military establishment supports Sharif's return to power. Another important figure is Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, chairman of the Pakistan People's Party. Although he is unlikely to become the next prime minister, Bhutto Zardari is preparing for an opposition role after the elections. Fazal Ur Rahman, president of Jamiat Ulama-e-Islam Fazal, is expected to be nominated for president by the PMLN and its allies. Maryam Nawaz, daughter and heir apparent of Nawaz Sharif, could also play a prominent role if the PMLN wins the elections. Finally, Jahangir Tareen, founder of the Istikami Pakistan Party, may act as a kingmaker by attracting independent PTI candidates to form a government after the elections. The Chinese scientists leaving top U.S. universities to take up roles in China. South China Morning Post. A number of acclaimed scientists and researchers of Chinese origin have decided to leave their positions in the U.S. and other countries to return to China. These scientists, who have made significant contributions to their respective fields, are joining top universities and research institutions in China, attracted by the country's growing investment in research and innovation. This trend of reverse brain drain is seen as a sign of China's increasing influence in the global scientific community and its efforts to become a leading powerhouse in various fields of research. Hokkaido Ramen chain wins fans from Harvard to Southeast Asia. Nikkei Asia. Ramen Santoka, a ramen chain from Hokkaido, Japan, is winning fans across the world with its authentic taste and Japanese service. The company has 40 overseas stores in 8 countries and regions across North America and Asia, nearly 3 times its 14 locations in Japan. Overseas sales account for more than 80% of the total. The company is now planning to expand further, with the European market in its sights. Demand for Japanese food is still high in Europe, so I think we can compete, said Shinichi Kikuta, president of About, the operating company that manages the chain. Poland's new leader is hellbent on restoring democracy, even if it means war with his populist rivals. CNN. Donald Tusk, the returning veteran of Polish centrism and current prime minister, is facing criticism for his confrontational approach towards law and justice, peace, the populist group he defeated. Tusk has moved quickly to restore Poland's democratic institutions, tackling the illiberal and far-reaching changes made by peace to the Polish state. However, his aggressive approach has caused fissures in Polish society to explode into outright hostility. Tusk has dismissed the heads of the public broadcaster, TVP, and arrested 2 senior ex-ministers from peace governments. While these moves have delighted many voters, there are concerns that Tusk is doing too much, too fast, and no plan has been presented for the long-term restoration of institutions. Weekend time schedule. Associated Press. The schedule of sporting events for Saturday, January 27 and Sunday, January 28 is provided. The events include NBA games, NHL matches, college basketball games, and golf and tennis tournaments. Notably, the AFC and NFC championship games in the NFL are scheduled for Sunday. Osborne leads the way as number 2 UCLA pulls away in third quarter for 62-44 win over Washington. Associated Press. Number 2 UCLA defeated Washington 62-44 in a Pac-12 matchup on Friday night. Charisma Osborne led UCLA with 17 points, while London Jones added 13. UCLA went on a 10-0 run in the fourth quarter to secure the victory. Washington has now lost 6 of its last 7 games. In another Pac-12 game, number 6 Stanford defeated Arizona State 80-50. Kiki Iriafen had 27 points and 14 rebounds for Stanford, while Cameron Brink scored 20 points with 16 rebounds. Stanford head coach Tara Vanderveer earned her 1,204th career victory. Avian flu is devastating farms in California's egg basket as outbreaks roil poultry industry. Associated Press. California has been hit hard by avian flu, with nearly a dozen commercial farms having to destroy over 1 million birds to control the outbreak. Sonoma County, where officials have declared a state of emergency, has been particularly affected, as has Merced County. The highly contagious virus is spread by migratory birds, which can carry the disease without getting sick. State veterinarian Annette Jones is urging farmers to keep their flocks indoors until June, including organic chickens that are required to have outdoor access. The outbreak has impacted over 7 million chickens in about 40 commercial flocks and 24 backyard flocks in California. Climate change is increasing the risk of outbreaks as changing weather patterns disrupt the migratory patterns of wild birds. Poultry farmers have been implementing strict biosecurity measures to curb the spread of the disease. California's poultry farmers are still recovering from the last outbreak of bird flu in 2015, which led to record egg prices and widespread shortages. A famed NYC Museum is closing 2 Native American halls. Harvard and others have taken similar steps. Associated Press. The American Museum of Natural History in New York is closing 2 halls featuring Native American objects due to the severely outdated nature of the exhibits and their culturally sensitive content. The museum will eventually repatriate the displays to Native American tribes and other rightful owners. The decision follows recently revamped federal regulations governing the display of indigenous human remains and cultural items. Institutions including Harvard University's Peabody Museum of Archaeology and Ethnology and the Cleveland Museum of Art have also pledged to remove similar exhibits. Late Samsung chairman's art collection to go on global display. Nikkei Asia. The art collection amassed by former Samsung chairman Lee Kuan-hee is set to be exhibited in the UK and the US. Lee's collection of 23,181 pieces included works by Monet, Dali, Picasso and Chagall, as well as Korean artists. Some 60 pieces are designated national treasures. Lee's family donated the collection to institutions including the National Museum of Modern and Contemporary Art, Korea, which has toured the collection within South Korea. The collection will now be shown abroad, with exhibitions planned at the Smithsonian's National Museum of Asian Art in 2025, the Art Institute of Chicago in 2026, and the British Museum in London in 2026. A dedicated gallery, the Lee Kuan-hee Donation Museum, will open in Seoul in 2028. The Kindertransport refugees who made Britain home. BBC. In the run-up to Holocaust Memorial Day, the BBC has spoken to some of the remaining survivors of the Kindertransport, which helped bring around 10,000 mainly Jewish refugee children to the UK between 1938 and 1940. Now 92 years old, former refugee John Fieldsend says he can still recall the sound of Hitler's voice booming from loudspeakers in the streets of Dresden. His parents drove him and his brother to their grandparents' house in Czechoslovakia, but when Hitler invaded in 1939, John's life was turned upside down again. He is one of 669 children who escaped Czechoslovakia through the trains arranged by British stockbroker Nicholas Winton, a story that was recently brought to the big screen. John and his brother were eventually separated and lived with different foster families in Sheffield. John, who is now a retired Anglican vicar, father of 3 and grandfather of 7, works with the Holocaust Educational Trust to share his testimony. Defamation defeat a double-edged sword for Trump. BBC. A New York jury has ordered Donald Trump to pay $83.3 million, £65.6 million, to a writer he was found to have defamed by denying her allegation of sexual assault. Jean Carroll was awarded $5 million last year in another civil case, but Trump continued to deny the allegations. Legal experts say the award is a message to the former president to stop smearing her. Trump currently faces 4 criminal indictments and could soon have to pay out millions in a New York civil trial relating to business fraud. Michigan hires Sheron Moore to replace Jim Harbaugh as coach. Washington Post. Michigan has hired Sheron Moore as its new football coach. Moore, who had been on Jim Harbaugh's coaching staff since 2018, replaces Harbaugh, who left to take the Los Angeles Chargers head coaching job. Moore had been the Wolverines' offensive coordinator and offensive line coach since 2021. He was the team's acting head coach for 4 games in 2023 while Harbaugh was serving a school-issued suspension over potential recruiting violations. Michigan went 4-0 in those games, including victories over number 9 Penn State and number 2 Ohio State. Moore becomes the first black coach to oversee the Michigan football program. Transform every walk you do into a weight loss opportunity. Telegraph. Walking is a simple and effective way to stay fit and healthy, according to experts. Walking can help maintain bone health, strengthen muscles, and is easy on the joints, making it virtually impossible to injure oneself. Walking can also provide a range of health benefits, including promoting cardiovascular health, boosting the immune system, and improving cognitive impairment. Walking can also help with weight management and reduce body fat, as well as improve mental health and boost self-esteem. It is an accessible form of exercise for people of all ages and can be easily slotted into a busy schedule, with even a quick walk during a lunch break counting towards the recommended weekly 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity. Coffee drinkers stung by service charge surge as tip jars run dry. Telegraph. Cafes and coffee shops in the UK are introducing service charges to make up for a drop in tips as customers move away from cash payments. The industry has seen a 40% decline in tips since 2020, according to Payment System SumUp. Some cafes are adding charges of up to 12.5% to coffee orders, with some independent chains adding the discretionary charge to takeaway drinks. Customers have complained about the charges, with some saying they would only tip for excellent service. New rules to ensure tips are passed on to workers without deductions will come into force in July. Hunter and Von Oelhoffen help number 25 Oregon State defeat number 3 Colorado 68-62. The Toronto Star. Number 25 Oregon State defeated number 3 Colorado 68-62 in a women's college basketball game on Friday night. Donovan Hunter and Talia Von Oelhoffen each scored 16 points for Oregon State, while Jalen Sherrod led Colorado with 19 points. The win improves Oregon State's record to 16-3, while Colorado falls to 16-3. Well, folks, that's a wrap for today's news. We covered a range of topics, from politics to sports, and even some tips for staying healthy. Let's take a moment to recap some of the highlights. In Pakistan, the upcoming elections are set to shape the country's future, with several key figures vying for power. Keep an eye on Nawaz Sharif, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, Fazal Rahman, Maryam Nawaz, and Jahangir Tareen as they navigate the political landscape. China's growing influence in the scientific community is evident as acclaimed Chinese scientists and researchers are opting to leave their positions in the US and return to China. This reverse brain drain is a testament to China's investment in research and innovation. On a lighter note, Ramen Santuka, a popular ramen chain from Hokkaido, Japan, is winning fans around the world with its authentic taste and Japanese service. With plans to expand further, this chain is set to satisfy even more ramen cravings. In Poland, Prime Minister Donald Tusk is working to restore democracy, but his confrontational approach has ignited hostility in the country. While his actions have pleased many voters, concerns remain about the long-term plan for restoring institutions. Sports fans, don't miss out on the exciting events happening this weekend, including the AFC and NFC championship games in the NFL. And in college basketball, number 2 UCLA and number 6 Stanford secured victories in their respective matchups. In other news, avian flu is devastating poultry farms in California, with millions of chickens affected. Strict biosecurity measures are being implemented to control the outbreak, but climate change is increasing the risk of future outbreaks. The American Museum of Natural History in New York is closing 2 halls featuring Native American objects due to outdated exhibits and culturally sensitive content. Similar steps have been taken by institutions like Harvard University's Peabody Museum. Finally, former Samsung chairman Lee Kuan-hee's art collection, which includes works by renowned artists, will be exhibited globally, including at the British Museum and the Smithsonian's National Museum of Asian Art. And remember, folks, walking is a simple and effective way to stay fit and healthy. It offers a range of health benefits and can be easily incorporated into your daily routine. So, why not take a stroll and enjoy the benefits? That's all for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed our news roundup. Now it's your turn to join the discussion. What are your thoughts on these news stories? Do you have any questions? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.